What's up, buddy? What's going on, pal? You want a pet? Go pet. There you go. He's a good boy. He's a good cat. He's a sweet boy. He's like the master chiller. The master chiller. You're like the opposite of me. So there's this critical tension in creativity that you find, and on one side of the spectrum is how good does it need to be. You're in the studio, you're like lining things up, playing with the tracks, and like, I don't know, it's like you could always go further with how detailed you get. But oftentimes I find creative people tend to abandon the tightening too soon, that we need to focus more. We need more reps in, really like develop our comfort with it so that the execution feels like it's being played by someone who's played it a bunch of times as opposed to maybe who's playing it for the first time. That's on the one side of the spectrum. On the other side of the spectrum, people can sense soul. People can sense real. For me, that's more important. And so looking at that spectrum, it's always like trying to figure out where that balance is. And to me, it's like the real, the soul, that's a non-negotiable. If I don't feel that like there's this like expression of someone's, like this honest expression of their experience, I tend not to be interested. And that's different. There's many times where I miss it. I remember as a kid, sitting around, I was probably 13, 14, sitting around, and it was my mom and my stepdad. My stepdad's the one who really introduced me to music. I probably am not a guitarist if it's not for my stepdad, probably, I don't know. And he was asking me about this song, or this band, one or the other, and I was saying how I didn't like it. And he said, well, maybe you just haven't developed an ear for it. And my mom was kind of taken aback. My mom came in and kind of defended me. It was like, he doesn't have an ear for it. But Noel was right. What I didn't like the first couple times I heard it, or heard it in passing, or before maybe someone that helped me understand what was so good about it, I didn't have an ear for it. And ever since then, like, that lesson to me, whenever I think that I don't like something, especially if like some other people are into it, like if there's, whatever is fine, I assume that I don't have an ear for it. It's not that that's bad, it's that I don't understand it. And if I spent time with it, I would come to appreciate it. And the effort toward that mindset, like, thanks to him and that lesson, when you acknowledge that you might not like it because of you and not because of it, it makes you more open to it. And when you're more open to it, like, you really broaden your exposure. And obviously having a broad exposure is critical to creativity. Constantly expanding your exposure, listening, being open, seeking to understand like what this other person's putting in. Like when two people are working together collaboratively, creating, like, it can get too much to be about whose idea is a killer. Or whose idea are we? I want to do my idea. I want to do my idea. I've run into that a lot. But you run into it a lot, and you can improve, and you can say, I think there's a truth that in the creative process generally, so long as you have good, you're with the right people. So long as, like, if you chose the wrong people, like, anything's screwed. But if you're with the right people, if you're with people who you have some, whatever the connection is, as long as it's cool and it makes sense. I lost my train of thought. I don't know. That'll come back to me. There's some punctuation mark there. Oh, that happens to me quite a bit.